welcome back to my comfy corner where I talk about things that make me comfy and cozy so I can stop bothering the people around me. And today,
Breaking news!
hello. Actually, today we're going to do something a little bit different. Welcome to TT News. This is where I get to talk about all the tea and drama that I've been learning from the past couple of weeks, months, years, whoever, whenever, things that make me go, because I'll be honest, y'all. I don't know if you could tell based off of my demeanor, but I like a little cup of tea. I like a little drama. And I have been keeping up with a lot of things. And I just want to share and give my thoughts and opinions. I know other people have, but this is mine. So I'm just going to rapid fire things and y'all just try to keep up because there is a lot that has happened in this past week alone that I just want to talk about and share. Strap in. Okay, so the first thing that I want to talk about is okay, first thing I'm going to talk about is Soobin. So I don't know if y'all know TXT. If you don't, how did you get here, bestie? You should probably go and check out my other videos. But Soobin is a part of a group called TXT, Tomorrow X Together, a K-pop group, and he is the leader of said group. Now, he was in the Philippines about a week or so ago. What was he doing there? I'm not sure, but he was there with his friend, and he just got out of the airport. And usually the taxi fare to get to wherever they were going to is 300 pesos, which is about $17, it said online, um, to go to their destination. But they ended up running into a taxi driver that was like, hey, I'll drive you there for 500 pesos. For some reason, they're like, bet we're just going to go in, we're gonna take the drive. 500 pesos isn't bad. But then as soon as they got into the car and the guy started driving, he notably did not turn on his taxi ticker, and then he instead just decided to say, hey, pay me this amount. Instead, that was not the 500 pesos that they agreed to. So what they decided to do is go back and forth and argue and have a little tussle, not a physical tussle, but just back and forth. And Soobin was just like, no, I'm paying the 500 pesos. And honestly, bestie, keep your coin, keep your money. You're one of the hardest working boy groups. You're a part of one of the hardest working boy groups out here. So every penny cent matters to you, regardless of how famous you are. And so eventually, after a big huff and haw, the taxi driver was just like, fine, I'll give it to you for the 500 pesos. Subin recorded this, posted it on YouTube. It went viral. And so the thing that I want to talk about is the fact that the Philippine government was just like, oh, Bestie, don't even worry about it, Subin, I got you. Found the taxi driver, revoked his license, revoked his license plate, and said, Bestie, you can't drive for at least 30 days. You're on suspension. And honestly, you might not be able to drive at all. And quote, the Philippine government said that this taxi driver embarrassed us nationally, and we do not tolerate or accept that. You decided to charge a fare, and we don't want bad publicity. And I say this to say the Philippines has been on a clean the country sweep that I quite appreciate because, it's not just the tourists, and I'm not saying that it's the Philippine people either. It's very nuanced, but I do appreciate a country trying to put in that effort to be very welcoming to people coming to travel, to be tourists, to do whatever to their country, and try not to get these people scammed. But also, I appreciate that they're willing to clean up the trash of the tourists that come there, and it's like, hey, listen, we're strict on everybody. We want everybody to have a good time, clean, safe, fun. And there are extremes to it that I understand, and I'm not a political girly to get into all the tea and drama on that. But I just find it very funny that Super was just like, hee, I'm in Philippines, and then ended up getting this man ended up somehow talking to the manager and getting this man's career canceled. So that's really crazy. Um, I do hope that the driver gets a second chance because I never want anyone to be jobless in this economy. But yeah, Subin said your days are numbered. You got 30 minutes. Now he has 30 days in timeout. Okay, next thing. Okay. I've been talking about this ad nauseum with my friends, but I still can't get over it, so I'm gonna keep talking about it. So I know that y'all have seen the headlines, but apparently Pooh Shiesty kidnapped and robbed Gucci Mane. Now, if that isn't like a TikTok, Tumblr, castrat, like I truly was befuddled. I was like, what do you mean Pooh Shiesty kidnapped Gucci Mane and robbed him? What do you even mean? And I'll be honest, it was on me to have a little bit of faith and be like, kidnapping, was it really kidnapping? So I looked into it. I read through the entire articles, the summary. So I'm going to give you a rundown of what happened past the headline so you can understand why Pushaisi allegedly, I don't even know why I'm saying allegedly, but for legal reasons, allegedly kidnapped and robbed Gucci Mane. So what happened was, if you guys do not know who Pushaisi and Gucci Mane are, here they are. Um, both have been pretty quiet as of recent, as I know. Are there any Gucci Mane Pooh Shiesty fans out there, stands out there right now in this century? I shouldn't be that mean. Anyways, Pooh Shiesty and Gucci Mane are both rappers. They are both artists, and Gucci Mane has a label. Did I know that? No, but now you guys do. And Pooh Shiesty is signed to Gucci Mane's label. So Pooh Shiesty, I guess, has wanted out from this label, and Gucci Mane said no. And so Pooh Shiesty said please, and then Gucci Mane said no. And then Pooh was just like, well, how about we just meet up and talk? Let's just talk. Come outside. I'm not gonna hurt you. And Gucci Mane was just like, sure, now. I'll get to it. I'll wait. I'll wait before I get to it. So Gucci Mane was just like, sure, let's meet up, bestie. So Gucci Mane is in Dallas, Texas, and Pooh Shiesty is in Memphis, Tennessee. So Pooh Shiesty ends up flying over to Dallas, and they end up meeting at the studio. Now, Gucci Mane, for some reason, was just like, I think Pooh Shiesty is going to do something. Maybe it's because of his name. Maybe it's because of his whole like track record and the things that he talks about and does in everything. But I'm going to bring two armed security guards. I'm going to bring two armed security guards to meet with my artist. Keep that in mind. Two armed security guards to meet with my artist. So they meet up at the studio. Now, before they meet up at the studio, Pooh Shiesty gets called. Bring. Who's it? It's his parole officer, because surprise, surprise, plot twist, he's already on house arrest for a gun charge back in Memphis. So he's not supposed to be leaving the state of Memphis. He's supposed to stay in Memphis, right? He still has an ankle monitor that is actively working. I'm not condoning or saying that he should have tampered with the ankle monitor. I'm saying he should have stayed at home. But parole officer calls just like, hey Bessie, what are you doing? He's just like, oh yeah, I'm here in Dallas, having a grand old time meeting with my boss. I got it approved. And the parole officer's like, no, you absolutely didn't get it approved. Get your butt back to Memphis. And Pooh Shiesty is just like, boop, boop, boop. And so now he's in Dallas and he's not supposed to be in Dallas. They meet, they're in the studio, and they're having a discussion, and Gucci Mane basically did all of this to say no again. And Pooh Shiesty was just like, okay, well then let me get a present out for you. And Gucci Mane was like, before you do anything, just know I have two armed security guards here. And he was like, oh, you got two? Bet, bestie, I have six. And so he pulls up with the squad. His father's there, uh Big 30's there, a whole bunch of other friends are there. He got six people outside on top of him being strapped with the gun as well. Um and they beat up the security guards. They come to the studio, hold him hostage. So this is where kidnapping comes in, because apparently in the state of Texas, kidnapping does not mean you have to take someone from another location to be considered kidnapping. Kidnapping is where you withholding someone from not being able to leave from a premises using any means of necessary of violence, persuasion, whatever the case may be. So that is the state of Texas. Because at first I was just like, is it kidnapping if he's just holding him at that location? Still illegal, still a crime. But I'm like, isn't that false imprisonment, you know what I mean? Something of that nature, but different states, different classifications. Technically, it would be considered kidnapping because they are not letting him leave the place where he's at. So he has now been kidnapped. So I'm like, dang, Pooh, it is not looking good for you. But robbery, how do we get to robbery, right? I thought you just want to get out of the label. So they hold him hostage at the studio, allegedly. They hold him hostage at the studio. And Pooh Shiesty's father comes out with the contract. We'll get to why the contract made sense too. He comes out with the contract and he's just like, yeah, Gucci, you're gonna sign this contract. You're gonna let Pooh Shiesty out of this deal, out of the company. He's gone. He's gone. And so Gucci, smartly knowing the legal system in this time, was just like, sure, he didn't want no smoke. They are armed, they are strapped. He did not want to die that day. Good on you, Gucci. And so he agrees to sign the contract. And Big 30, who is another artist, I believe also signed to Gucci Mane, was like, yeah, I'm gonna record it. I'm gonna record you signing this so that way you can't say you didn't sign it. And so Gucci was just like, sure, do that. Now, legally, You cannot sign a contract under duress. And if you do sign a contract under duress, that contract is null and void because you were forced to sign it. You did not sign it on your own free will. Luckily, Gucci knew that, or maybe he didn't and just wanted to save his life. But the contract is null and void. He did claim that he did know that the contract would be null and void when he signed it. Gave it to them. Big 30 has the recording. Pooh Shicey's happy. The whole gang is just happy. But you would think they would just be happy about getting out of the label, right? Like that's the whole purpose of this entire trip, this entire vacation. But no, they were like, you know what, while we're at it, let's rob this man. So they stole his chain, they stole his money in the pocket, they took everything and they ran. And so at this point, the security guards end up calling the police. The police come and they're like, hey Bessie, what happened? And then Gucci says, I just got robbed by Pooh Shiesty. And I can't imagine being the officers that day, because what do you mean you got robbed by Pooh Shiesty? And what do you mean you just got robbed by your own artist? So they're like, hey, we're looking and it says that it says here that Pooh Shiesty's not even supposed to be here. How are we supposed to know? They look at the security cameras. This is all on camera. The studio has footage of everything that just went down, allegedly. But it has video footage of everything that went down, to the robbery, to them leaving. Nobody was wearing a mask. Like, how is your name Pooh Shiesty and you're not wearing a mask? They were all very much so identifiable. So they called the police department in Memphis. It was just like, hey, Bestie, it says here that Pooh Shiesty is supposed to be on house arrest. Is he still in Memphis? And then his parole officer was just like, no, he just told me he was in Dallas. What did he do? And they were just like, well, we're investigating, but he may have kidnapped and robbed Gucci Mane. And the parole officer is just like, I don't get paid enough for this. So they end up doing some extra investigation. They end up going to Staples. I don't know what made them go to Staples. I guess maybe because of a hunch. I don't know. Maybe retracing people's steps. So they go to a local Staples, and the guy working there was just like, "Oh yeah, Pooh Shicey's father was just here. He just printed off a contract. It looked like here. I could show you a copy because you could do that at Staples." And honestly, I wouldn't have been surprised if that contract was made out of crayon, but apparently he printed it at Staples, and I don't know why it's funny to me that the contract was printed out of Staples, but it's like you don't even have a printer at home. Like you just went to your local Staples and was just like, let me go and print this out. They wanted to get arrested, I guess at this point. They wanted to take a vacay in somebody's facility because all of this was just like, you're not covering the track. They left in the vehicle registered to Pooh Shiesty. They didn't even leave in an unregistered vehicle or vehicle that doesn't tie back to him. Then, after all of this, had the audacity to post on social media, apparently not only the contract signing, but also of the money spread and them robbing Gucci. You wanted to be arrested to the point where, right? It was so bad. The investigation was like open and closed. They just got all the evidence. They just called Pooh Shiesty, like the parole officer or whoever called Pooh Shiesty. It's like, Bessie, you might as well just turn yourself in. We're not even gonna waste our time getting a search warrant. Do you know how guilty you are for the police to not want to come knocking at your door? They knew where he was at too. He was at a motel. They knew where he was, so easily locatable and traceable. Okay. And so they're like, Bessie, just turn yourself in. We're not even gonna spend the time to break and enter and try to arrest all of y'all. Like, just come. You and your friends. You and your friends are welcome to the function. We have a space in a room for you. So all of them willfully turned themselves in. I think that's the best part of this, so that way no one got hurt and that there wasn't an extreme situation that happened. But now they are facing kidnapping and robbery charges, him and his entire family, the father, Big 30, the friends, all of it. And listen, they had proof. They have timelines. They had screenshots. They had everything. And I'm going to get to that quote, by the way, too, because I found out something interesting about the context of that. But they had everything against Pooh Shiesty. Like, girl, just plead guilty. Get the less time. Don't go to trial. Do not pass go. Do not collect $300. What did you think would happen, Pooh? Like, I don't know you, but I'm going to just, can I call you P? Can I call you Shiesty? First off, sir, you're known to be called Pooh Shiesty, yet no Shiesties were in sight. You were very much so easily identifiable. Make that make sense. Second, why would you fly to Dallas? Why wouldn't you have him fly to Memphis? Right? Like, why would you add that extra charge of breaking your parole? Also, you're on parole for another gun charge, sir. What are you doing? And then the family, the father, what were you thinking? Did you fly them out too? Or were they just so happen in Dallas? Were y'all all on like a Southwest airline, like scheming about this plan to like get out of the contract? Was it that bad? Tell me more about what the contract was going on about. And then, right? Gucci had the audacity to be like, but he's still gonna be signed to me. And I get it. I talked with one of my friends and they were like, honestly, I would be petty and be like, you're gonna be signed to me forever for doing that to me. And I get it. But I do find it hilarious that he was just like, after all of this, right? Now, this is this is the section where I'm going to talk to Gucci Mane. Mr. Mane. Can I call you Goo? Um, I'm not here to victim shame. I'm just here to victim inform. Sir, if you knew you needed two armed security guards to talk to your employee, maybe it should have been an email. Maybe it should have been a rough draft. Plus, you should have known that he was on house arrest too. So why would you invite him to Dallas anyway? I don't get it. I don't get it. For you to have him meet you in person in a studio just to say no when you already said no prior, why would you want to meet him? Listen, bestie, what happened to you is very unfortunate, very traumatic, and honestly, I am not here to entertain the whole snitching situation because I really do think that at this point in time and juncture, snitching is just used as a way to say that Black people can't be victims anymore. Because hell yeah, I'm snitching. My artist just tried to rob me and held me at gunpoint. How is that snitching? That is me trying to secure my life and get a criminal in jail. Like we lost the plot with snitching. We really did. He was a victim. He is not a criminal. Gucci Mane at this juncture. At this juncture was not a criminal. There was nothing that he did that was illegal. So yeah, I'm telling the officers what happened. Like I didn't want to be kidnapped and robbed. Um did Gucci Mane get his stuff back? I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure they probably got it back from the motel and everything, and I am now awaiting the court date for that. But this whole situation was just nonsensical. Like, imagine you just wake up and I get like Google alerts of stuff now, and I try to follow up with the tea and drama because I'd rather look at funny things and crazy things than the world going on fire right now. So yeah, it's looking a little bit rough. And they did all of that. And then it's just like a whole family affair. Like, why would you bring all these people to this? Why would you include? Yeah, Pooh Shiesty kidnapped and robbed Gucci Mane allegedly, and is now arrested, is in jail, and we are pending trial, and we are pending a plea. If I were you, bestie, just plead guilty. Don't waste nobody's time because I don't even know what your defense attorney would even say. I don't even know what your defense attorney would even say. Maybe they would reduce the sentence to what I said, false imprisonment. I don't know if false imprisonment is lesser sentence than kidnapping in the state of Texas, but you did like the kidnapping could be nuanced, but the robbery you absolutely did, and you broke parole, you absolutely did, and you had a gun when you weren't supposed to have a gun because you had a previous gun charge. There's a lot that they could take to trial. So Bessie, just plead guilty. Just take just take the charge and run. Okay, next thing that I want to talk about, Offset got shot. So Offset got shot in front of a casino, and this is still breaking pending news as I am talking about this. We are still getting information as it goes. But apparently, he was allegedly shot in front of a casino in Florida. It was a non-fatal wound. He is recovering. He is okay. He was seen smoking a fat blunt or cigarette or whatever was being smoked, whatever was legal and allowed in the state of Florida to be smoked. And immediately after I saw that headline, because I really saw it right when it fresh happened unintentionally, it was just like, yep, breaking news, Offset got shot. And I'm like, not Offset, what happened? At this point, like, the Migos is no longer the Migos. At this point, focus on me. Don't focus on Migo. Focus on me. Like this is y'all are being targeted. What is happening? What is the tea? But immediately after, people were like, Lil TJ did it. I'm like, how do we know Lil TJ did it? Now, for those that don't know, Lil TJ is also a rapper, and to my knowledge, I'm not going to sit here and say he did or didn't do anything because we're still getting information. I'm just going to tell you the facts of the case and what the girls are saying. So when it first launched, everybody was like, Little TJ did it, Little TJ did it, Little TJ did it, right? And so when news reporters went to find out, apparently Little TJ also got arrested for misconduct uh at the same casino at the same time, place, and location, right? And so people were just like, and he posted bail. I think he got $500, or was it 300 or $500? It was something low. But the police still had him in custody for questioning. So girls were just like, well, clearly little TJ must have shot him, right? Because what are the odds? Now, this is where little TJ's legal team, and do not fire them, little TJ, because they really did try to help you. This is where little TJ's team, legal team, was just like, hey, 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 do not listen to the social medias. Don't let them gas you up. Okay, it just so happened that he got arrested for misconduct that night. A lot was going on that night. Okay, but he was not involved in the shooting. He was not there with Offset. It was a separate incident. We are taking no further questions. You will find my client not guilty, and we are just doing our due diligence because they just want to ask what went on. But just know that night was crazy. Okay, there was a lot that was happening, and so he just so happened to get arrested for misconduct at the same time that Offset got shot. Now, at this point, you're sitting here like, yeah, right, he absolutely has something to do with it. But because of the nature of a casino vibe and like a bar crawl as sort of thing, there's enough plausible deniability, especially since there's no videos coming out yet. There was no other testimonies. No one else was there. A lot is happening. The police aren't saying anything, right? The police are saying that they're looking for two other suspects. They apprehended one. Maybe it really was like this big altercation at the casino. Little TJ ended up getting wrapped up in some sort of fight that wasn't related to the Offset thing, but just like a big scuffle. And then he was released and just had to tell his testimony. Like that gave enough plausible deniability to me, right? So your legal team was doing you a big one. But then little TJ decided the next day to come outside and be like, yeah, Offset scared of me. His little bleep, 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 bleep. And yeah, he don't want no smoke with me. I want to fight him and everything. Yeah, I was there. Yeah, I was there. We had a little tussle. And I'm like, girl, so does your legal team mean nothing to you? Does your legal do, do you do you not like freedom? You just got out of jail. And so what I will say is, and I still will maintain up until this point, because even hearing about the little TJ thing, little TJ is not the type of person to carry a gun. I do know him because he's sort of the circle of the DDGs, the Cordays, the YK Osiris's and stuff. Back way back in the day. Corday, DDG, Lil TJ, YK Osiris, Roddy Rich. Like they were all really close friends back in the day. They even had a YouTube channel for some pranks and stuff like that DDG and Corday were really popping off on. But then eventually DDG went on his own way and started to focus more on YouTube rap. Corday blew up, did the double XL cipher. YK Osiris did the infamous double XL cipher. Roddy Rich had the box, he blew up. So they sort of all went their separate ways, but they still kept in close contact. Lil TJ was a part of that. But the vibe of the sphere, aside from DDG, he is a menace, and I don't even want to I don't even want to talk about it. I really don't want to get into the rant about that. But Lil TJ's not the type of artist or person to be walking around with a gun. He is very much so like I made it out the hood and I don't want to go back type character. So if there was an altercation, I still maintain that I do not see him carrying a gun. I see him handling it with fists. Um, More so than anything, and he's a very unproblematic artist for the most part. He does stay out of trouble. So even hearing that he got arrested, I to me, as someone who knows a little bit about him, I do not follow him like that. I don't know the last time he dropped a single, but I did not believe that he would shoot Offset. I don't see the connection as to why they were mad at each other. If anything, maybe Lil TJ still hanging out with DDG because I think DDG and Offset has some beef, but DDG have beef. DDG has beef with everybody. Just call him a steakhouse because he just keeps beef on deck. Call him Arby's. Anyways, that's the only connection I could think to even be mad at Offset because like I just don't see the connection there. Now, he did also state in his tirade of like he wanted to shoot the ones with Offset that Offset shot himself. I don't know how that's possible. We don't know exactly where he got the gunshot, but based off of pictures and videos, it does look like he got shot in the upper part of his body, not his lower part. So I don't know how you accidentally like turn the gun to you to shoot that area, right? Because if you're getting shot in the upper way, right? If I were to reenact, if you're getting shot in the upper way, you would need the gun to turn on you to get there. Now, if he was shot in like the foot or the leg, now you could see how it's shooting down, right? So I could see that being accidental, but it looks like it happened upper. So upper means someone was pointing the gun at him. So I don't see himself pointing the gun at himself. Um, just my thoughts and theories. But then uh, I found out yesterday, still upcoming. I'm gonna check today, but apparently yesterday, there's security footage showing that little TJ and his friends were the main aggressors allegedly of the shooting, and that his friend that little TJ was with ended up pulling the gun and shooting him, which again maintains my theory that little TJ did not have a gun. I did say that if it was little TJ's end of things, which I did think that at this point, based off of what you were saying, you now put yourself at the crime. Um, I don't think that he was the shooter. I do think that the friend was the shooter. Now it sounds like he was the aggressor, like he was in his car and then popped out on Offset. Again, I don't know what was said, what was exchanged, and allegedly, I have not seen the security footage of this, so this is all very much so alleged. We are still getting bits and crumbs and pieces as it goes. But little TJ, shut up, be quiet, because your legal team really did a lot of legwork, and if you didn't say anything, we really still wouldn't know if you were involved. But now you put yourself to being at Offset, now you put yourself to being in a fight with Offset. And even though you didn't shoot the gun, there are a lot of southern states that state that if a crime is committed and you are there helping the crime be committed, you could get charged for the same exact crime that the person did. For example, let's say Timmy and Jimmy wanted to rob, like, let's say that Jimmy is in the car with Timmy and Timmy decides to pull over and rob somebody, right? Because little Jimmy did not do anything to stop Timmy from robbing that person, in certain states, Jimmy and Timmy will be charged with robbery, even though Jimmy did nothing in the robbery. But because you stood there and did nothing, you are now an accessory to the crime. And now you get charged with the same exact crime as you. So, little TJ, I would be very much so quiet. I would apologize. I would say that I was gassed up on the socials and I had nothing to do with the incident, and backpedal, because your legal team did a lot to make sure that you were not associated with the crime, and then you just put yourself with the crime. Because if it is found that your associates were the ones to shoot Offset, um, I am not 100% sure of the state of Florida, but again, southern states tend to have this law where if your friends were associated with shooting, like if your friend shot Offset, you can also be charged with shooting Offset, even though you didn't pull the trigger. So I would tread lightly as your legal bestie and friend. That is not a lawyer and is giving armchair advice. I just think that you should shut up. I think your legal team, you should keep your legal team. You should shut up. And I think they are doing a lot of legwork to try to keep you out of trouble right now. Relax. Um, yeah, that was a lot. I'm gonna keep up to date with this. I need to figure out what is next, who the friends are, what the beef was about, because in all honesty, I really don't know why and what happened. Also, Offset got a week before the shooting happened. Apparently, Offset is getting sued by another casino in another state because he came out allegedly with $100,000 line of credit, ran up that credit, and then dipped and then never gave that casino that line of credit. And when the casino tried to pull out the money forcibly from the account, it said no sufficient funds. So it's not looking good for Offset right now. It's really not. And let's get into the next thing that is, dare I say, probably one of the most funny. Okay, I'm laughing ahead of time because I know what I'm about to say. So, this has been more so Southern news than it is like global news or national news, but I really do hope it gets picked up by someone other than Fox News soon. But in South Carolina, there's this lady. Her name is Brooke. Brooke, what? I can't remember her last name, but her name is Brooke. She owns a boutique, a baby boutique. And now there's nothing wrong with owning a baby boutique. I think that her concept is very smart. Um, and she's really well known. She ended up winning a boutique award at South Carolina. Her specialty is making custom baby onesies for all different shapes and sizes, because I didn't realize, because I don't have a kid, but that's a very big pain point that, babies all don't come out the same size and babies don't all grow the same size. But when it comes to toddler clothes, they sort of are like set at certain sizes based off of the months and stuff like that. So sometimes your baby may not your baby could be X amount of months old, but fit a different X amount of months old. So, anyways, her business is basically making custom baby onesies for all different shapes and sizes of babies up until they're toddlers, I believe. So, very well known for that. She amassed a huge following on Facebook. She has like thousands of VIPs and subscribers and things of that nature. And I don't know if this is her first attempt trying to do pre orders or not, but she opened up pre orders for like the moms that have been with her since day one. It's like a VIP thing. And so you could order baby clothes months in advance and then get them within those months before it releases on her boutique, um, such as pre-orders do and work, right? Sort of also like a Kickstarter or like a Patreon or whatever the case may be. Excuse me. So these mothers paid their money and we're like, okay, it's gonna come out by winter. It's gonna come out, and this all happened last year. It's gonna come out this time. It's gonna come out this time. But as the months kept rolling away, they did not get their product, and then they got radio silence from Brooke. And so they're like, "Hey Brooke, when is my stuff getting here? Hey Brooke, I want a refund if you're not gonna give me my stuff." There were some moms that did get some stuff, but the stuff that they got was not what they ordered. I'm not talking about them. That's a separate case. I'm talking about the moms that just never got their stuff altogether. Um, so it became a lot. And so instead of Brooke being like a professional adult, and being like, hey, if you want a refund, I'll give you your money back, or like, hey, giving updates as to what's going on, like, hey, the supplier's going on, or get like some sort of level of incentive, she was just like, no refunds. That's the store policy, regardless of if you don't get the product or not. You could get store credit, maybe, if I feel like it, and would start blocking these women, start removing their reviews, and just overall not being a nice person to these moms who are coming to you wanting clothes for their babies, and not getting them. And there's quite a couple of stories online if you want to look it up, of just parents being like, hey, I had to spend more money. There's this one mom that allegedly bought the baby clothes in advance while she was pregnant, so that way when the baby came out, she could have the baby clothes all sort of set and ready, and did not get them. So she had to spend more money to get baby clothes for her baby. And this may sound small and insignificant, but then in comes in Kristen H. Kristen, my bestie. I hope you see this one day, ma'am. You listen. One thing you don't do is mess with Facebook moms. Another thing you don't do is mess with moms with a bob. And I'm telling you, one day I truly will make a bob girly like video and talk about the power of the bob and when the bob is done right. One day I hope to be a bob girly. I'm not there yet. I'm not. I don't have the energy for it. That's why my hair is not in the bob right now. But Miss Kirsten with the bob, get her on your legal team. Honestly, Gucci and Offset, or Pooh Shiesty and little TJ and team, you might need her on your squad because she came out of the woodworks. Her video went viral, had over 1 million views, and she's basically like, "Hey, listen." To all the people that shopped at Brooks' store, we are tired of being scammed. We are moms, okay? And we're not going to let her push us around because the FDC, okay? The FDC says that you can't make us get, like, you can't make us not get a refund. We get a refund if we do not get the product. We have not gotten the product. We have been nice. We have been reaching out to you and you've been ignoring us. You've been doing all this stuff and we want our money. So now we're taking legal action. And I got a coalition of hundreds of women who you've done this to. Give us our money and we want it now. Okay. And I'm sitting here like, ooh, ooh. Oh, she's yelling. Girl, do you know you got 30 minutes? 30. You have 30 minutes. Give this mom, at least give this lady her money. Now, allegedly, Kristen spent $500 with her at the store and tried to contact, and so that's why I don't believe she is like the main one that made the coalition, but she joined the coalition and she's definitely leading it on social media. Like she's foot on neck, just going crazy, okay? And so would you believe me? If Brooke gets arrested January 1st, New Year's Day, she gets arrested for her very first charge. And you heard me, first charge, we'll get to it. She gets arrested for her first charge of false advertising, false something, I believe the charge is named. Basically, when you scam someone worth $2,000 or less. Now, the max sentence in the state of California, the state of South Carolina is at most a $1,000 fine to the courts alongside paying back that person their money, and max 30 days in jail. Max. That is the max. It is up to the judge's discretion. Sometimes in these cases, they don't even get the fine or the jail time. It's just you have to pay that person back the money. And so the first charge that she was charged with was for $110 receipt from a mom that paid and did not get her money back for it. And what I find hilarious is that instead of paying this mom her money back, she would rather pay $100 of bail because she got a bail slash bond of $1,000 to get out of jail, which she did immediately, right? But how bail bonds work is usually, unless you have the money to pay it outright, usually you go to a bail bondsman and you have to pay 10% max in most states. Sometimes it even goes up to 15 depending on what state you are, but 10% is usually the general rule of thumb. So you go to a bail bondsman, they'll pay the $1,000 outright, and then you have to pay them 10% down of whatever the bail is, and then you basically have a payment plan with the bail bondman. Now, let's say you are found not guilty of the crime. Usually, you get your money back, and the bail bondman get their money back. You may pay some like interest, so that's how the bail bondmans pay their bills. But for the most part, if you're bailing out on like $1,000 or something like that, you're only really paying 10% to get out. Just handy rule of thumb. So when people are getting paid or getting bonds of like $20,000, they're paying $2,000. Have fun with that. So anyway, she paid $100 at the very least to bail out, which she could have just gave to the mom that charged her in the first place. And okay, and then this is where it gets fun. I wouldn't be talking about it if it was just one instance. Would you believe me if, as of today, Friday, April 10th, and I have not checked the case because I've been checking daily. It has been a thing. She's been arrested 15 times. She has 15 mugshots. Maybe I'll put it up here. The girls are making calendars out it. And I'll be honest, Miss Mamas did have a glow up. Maybe she knew when she was getting arrested. There are times where she was getting arrested the same day. There are times, and she's being extradited all throughout South Carolina too, because this is like these are hundreds of moms from different counties and stuff. So if it's a charge in a different county, you got to go to that different county. Girl, she is getting a tour. She's getting a food tour or a jail tour of South Carolina. Like this is it is. And you know what? You know why I call Kirsten Ace a queen, Miss Bob Gurley? I'll put her here. You know why she's a queen? Because she has not been letting up. She has been posting the mugshots. She's like, we are keep calling. Keep calling, keep scrolling. I don't care if you spent $5, $50, $500. That is your money. You worked hard for it. You're a mom, and we need to make sure that she knows that this is not acceptable. And I want this to be a lesson to other people who paid money and didn't get their product back. You need to take the law by your hands. That is what this country's about. And I stand behind Kristen because she could have just had like a combo, like, and they could have all just gone into a big settlement. But she's like, no, I want you to feel this. We're filing individually. We're filing as individuals. You're going to be well acquainted to the court of law by the time I'm done with you. And this all could end if not Kirsten, if Brooke could just pay the moms or do something. Girl, get a sewing kit. Get some fabric from Michaels. They're having a sale. They're having a deal right now. Like just do something. But 15 times, and allegedly now she is the second most arrested uh person in the state of California, South Carolina. The number one person was arrested 39 times, so that's the goal, I guess. I'm sorry. I'm not, but I am. The number one or most arrested person in South Carolina was arrested 39 times, and he finally got arrested for murder, which was his last charge. But it was like basically all throughout his life he was getting arrested with different sort of crimes, and then it led up to murder, where he is now still serving his sentence. I believe he's still alive. But I think that she's probably the most arrested person in the shortest amount of time. Because when I say like she got arrested New Year's Day, I mean this year, 2026, she got arrested. And literally last week she got 15. I think last week Thursday was her 15th arrest. And she keeps bailing out of these things. Now, not all bails, I will give some honesty here. Not all of the bonds and bailouts she had to pay. A lot of it is some of the judges giving her PR bonds, which means you are let out of your own recognizance. With the promise to appear to court. Now, if you do not appear to court after your PR, after giving a PR, then you have to pay the full amount of that bond, which is the punishment of it. So you don't have to pay at all, but you have to promise to come back. It's a promissory note. So a lot of the times when she is getting bonded out for like 1,000, 5,000, however much time, she is getting bonded out with PRs. But the first one, she did not get a PR. And it's funny because she has to like, okay, and here's the thing. It's funny because she has to like make sure she doesn't schedule a court hearing on the same day another court hearing is happening because she's being charged 15 different times. That's 15 different charges and going and pending. The moms are not stopping and honestly don't. Like I think that it's one thing to scam somebody, it's another thing to scam a mom. And maybe it's just because, I love my mom and, you know, I don't know. It's something about, and they're babies. They don't have money as it is. It's already a hard enough economy, and these aren't like rich moms. I would also like to state this as well. The most that I've seen somebody charge her for the baby clothes and stuff is Kirsten with the $500. Um, but a lot of these are $100, $200, maybe $50. But they need their money and they need it now, and they try to be nice to you, and you don't want to listen. Now, this Miss Brooke has been standing 10 toes down on her stuff. She said, "Listen." She pled not guilty. Ma'am, plead guilty. You're going to spend more money going into the legal system to fight over this $100 than you would if you just gave the money, gave the ladies their $100. And clearly, you have some level of money to give some of the money back. But she's like, no, it's store credit. I'm allowed to give store credit. You girls are crazy. Um, she's still been trying to scam and do business as usual, allegedly scam and do business as usual. She put up her business on Facebook Marketplace. She's trying to sell the building. She's not being interviewed. She's not taking any further questions, but she is fighting them. And so I can't wait to see how her first or how the court case goes for her very first case, because I feel like that will determine whether or not she's going to continue pleading not guilty to these other charges. Okay, listen, Brooke, listen. You should probably plead guilty and pay these girls their money. You cannot afford this. They're not stopping. Kirsten is not stopping. Miss Mamas is not going to be happy until you are penniless. And even then, she'll probably take that last penny, go to a penny slot machine, probably make a thou. Okay, Miss Kirsten is a boss. She is a queen. She's a diva. Everybody wants a diva until a diva walks in the room, and that is Kirsten with the bob. Okay, she is handling business. Her children are secure. Okay, she is leading this coalition of moms, and I said I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I do again. I would not be as here for it if Brooke had some level of remorse or apologized or like start paying the girl their monies, but they're not. So honestly, continue until she learns her lesson. 15 clearly is enough. Let's go to 30. Let's break the record. South Carolina, you got a couple more months, ma'am. You could do it. So I am keeping up to date with this, but as of today, it's still 15. And it is funny because the police departments have gone on to say that they are literally like waiting in line to arrest her because they have to coordinate with like the DAs and like the other departments to arrest her. I find that hilarious. Ma'am, get a sewing machine. Get a sewing machine. I don't know if they have that in jail. Get some $5 fabric and start working on some onesies. Sell your building for that $240,000 that you're allegedly trying to sell it for, and give these women their money back because they are not stopping. Kristen is not stopping. Honestly, I want Kristen to be the next Avenger. Make her the Avenger. And honestly, I find it funny that the girls are like, she's not a Karen, she's a Susie. Okay, they're calling her Susie. They're calling her a Susie, and I think that's actually very much so iconic. Because this is not Karen behavior. She tried to be nice, like they try to reach out, and she's leading a coalition of these women. I love that for her. I truly do. So I will keep you posted. TT News will keep you posted on that. But yeah, I was gonna sit here and talk about the screenshots lady, and then I realized that, like, honestly, it's better for you to watch the show yourself to understand. But it's from the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, and she was basically yelling at this other lady for being a part of. Spoiler alert! We. Basically, that whole portion was a buildup of this girl, of this like burner account slash account that has been allegedly harassing the women, called Reality Von Tees. I believe, which work honestly should be a drag name. Honestly, I would love to see Reality Von Tease on RuPaul's season 19 of Drag Race. Um, but Reality Von Tease was an account that basically took down Jen, who was a part of the thing. I will probably make a separate video just talking about Real Housewives in all honesty because I would love to do a binge watch of that. But basically she was yelling at Osis because we find out that one of the cast members was actually a part of and or running Reality Von Tease, and that's when she came out and said it. And I just find that hilarious because it's nice to find out the context of it, but I am not doing it justice. Go online and see other people talk about it, or watch the show. Apparently, it's the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. This was season 4 when it happened. I didn't even realize there were 4 seasons of Salt Lake Girls, but work. So yeah, that is the end of TT News. I will keep you posted as I stay posted, and make sure you let me know what other things that you want me to investigate, talk about, because as much as I don't want my YouTube to be a drama channel, I do like a little bit of drama. I do. I like drama when it's not me though. I like it when it's someone else so I could talk about it and give my own thoughts and opinions and have a little kiki. And maybe have a little laugh while the world is burning around us. So, with all that being said, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to my Ribbles and Rambles. Comment below what things you think I should keep up with. I am keeping up with the Johnny Somali thing. That would be its entirely separate video. Um, for sure it's going to be its own separate video. I'm just sort of waiting now for the court date to happen. Johnny Somali's court date will happen at the end of this month. Long time coming for sentencing. Long time coming for sentencing. So we shall see. But I hope you have a good day. And I will see you in the next video. Bye. So, editor Tiana here, literally editing today, and something in my bones in my body as I was editing this video told me to check on the Brooke case again. And it's 16 now. It's 16. I'll put the mugshot officially here of all 16 because I found it. I'll also give you a timeline of the events and when she was arrested, but it's actually 16 now. Ma'am, give them their money. Ma'am, ma'am, pack it up, call it a day, let it go to bed, let it go to rest. You better get a sewing kit and some fabric. It's like $2-3. I don't know, but ma'am, this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. And still pending. Police officers are still the police department is saying that there's still charges in the back burner. So I will keep it going. We'll see what number we end up with. Honestly, if we're able to beat 39, that's insane behavior. Um, Also, as of to date, there is, I think they just set the court hearing for the very first charge. I believe she has pled not guilty to some of the other charges. I don't know why. Ma'am, just pay the money. You're wasting everybody's time. Just pay them the money. And if you don't have the money, just say that. Just say that at this point. I mean, you're gonna have to be working somewhere. McDonald's, Burger King, and there's nothing wrong working at McDonald's or Burger King. I'm just saying you need a dollar. Something. Cause 16 and counting, insane behavior. But just wanted to pop in and give you that update if you needed it. Yeah, the number is 16 now. Also, bonus while we're here, I was also looking into another thing and I meant to talk about it. I don't know if y'all know this, but there's this guy, I forget the name of these people, but this guy was a doctor and his wife was a neurosurgeon or something of that nature. They lived on an island, and apparently Miss Mamas was cheating on him and had an affair. They were married for 8 years, and so allegedly he went up to this cliff, pushed her down, tried to push her off the cliff and hit her with a rock, and was going to give her a syringe to kill her, but was unable to do so allegedly because there are other people on the island and they stopped him. He called his son, allegedly said to the son, "Hey, I almost killed your mom," and then got arrested. And so I thought it was a pretty open and shut case. He pled not guilty. He went on the stand, and there's a lot of discourse about him going on the stand because to me personally, he was very much so guilty. How do you act? Because he claimed self-defense. He claimed that she actually pushed him and they got into a little scuffle, And so after the scuffle, he did hit her with the rock. They did obtain the rock, and that, I guess, magically the syringes in his bag that he was going to allegedly use to kill her just got there on accident. And also, him pushing her was not a push. I don't know, because I really thought that this man would be found guilty on the attempted murder charge. He was actually found not guilty on attempted murder. He was found guilty on attempted manslaughter. And so some of the jury girlies were out and about talking about this, which again, I would just have claimed anonymity because the internet's mad at you, girl. I am too. But they were like, well, um, we feel like it was manslaughter because he didn't necessarily plan to kill his wife with a syringe that would have killed her and also pushed her off of a cliff and also hit her with a big rock. He wasn't out to kill her. And honestly, he was in an emotional state, which is why we chose manslaughter. Because when you think about it, I could only imagine somebody's emotions being high after finding out that you were married for 8 years and then they were cheating on you. And so this leads me to believe, are we in the era now where it's just okay to murder someone because they cheated on you? Is that now the social norm and acceptability? Because I feel like the crime does not absolutely complete meet the judgment here. I the crime does not fit the punishment. So what, she cheated. Honestly, given his temper and his reaction, I could see why she wanted out. She was on an island. Where do you think she's gonna go? Hello? And luckily she survived, God bless, but with a lot of trauma and situations going on. And yes, he still got charged, but he's probably going to get less years than the life sentence that he might have gotten with attempted murder. I'm confused by this judge and ruling. I know it's the jury and they have the final say, but I wholeheartedly disagree after watching the cases and at the case very closely and the facts. I think that they just chose that because maybe I'm gonna hold my tongue on my real reasons on that. But I think another reason is maybe because he's this smart, well dressed, well presenting man, and they just resonated with him finding out he got cheated on and his wife had an affair on him. And so I guess now that's okay and justified, and it's not considered attempted murder if you decide to push your wife allegedly off of a cliff of an island that you own and she can't escape. And then when she doesn't fall off the cliff, to pick up a rock allegedly and then bash her head in with it allegedly, and then attempt to get a syringe out of your bag that you brought to this location in the first damn place, and then try to get inject her with it allegedly, but then stop because there's another person that was there and prevented you from doing so allegedly, and so you ran allegedly, and then you ended up calling your son allegedly and then told him that you were going to kill his mom allegedly. All of that, I guess, is okay and not attempted murder but attempted manslaughter because he was emotional that his wife was cheating on him. I don't know, like in nobody wins in this. I just disagree with the ruling. And also, I would like to see the shoe on the other foot. Now let a woman do the same exact thing the man did. I want it to be the same thing about manslaughter. Let Cardi B do this to Offset. I'm sorry. I don't mean to bring them in, but I bring them in. Like, let that happen. Or let a minority do that. Will they get attempted manslaughter? I don't know. It's just a series of unfortunate events, and somehow he got a very, very easily swayed jury. Because me personally, I'm not falling for those crocodile tears. I'm not believing it. I feel like maybe if it wasn't for them being on an island and him pushing allegedly her off of a cliff and failing, and the proceeding to bash her in with a rock, a very big rock, by the way, a not little tiny pebble, but a rock of a sizable damage to her head, which again, thankfully she lived. But then I feel like the extra little tidbit is the syringes. Was that necessary? Like, maybe if the syringes weren't in there, I would believe this, but I don't, I don't, I don't, I don't, I don't. So yeah. Those are my thoughts on that there, but I just, yeah. Yeah, bonus for sticking around to the end. Thank you. and all the stuff that I said earlier. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what things that you want me to keep up to date with, what things that you think I should talk about in the comments, because I would love to keep up with the tea. I do like a good true crime, by the way, as long as it's not too bloody gory. I do like something funny and goofy to keep up with, that I can laugh at and we can have a little kiki. I'm not a lawyer, nor will I ever be. So any and all legal advice and things that I've said were for the he's and haws. Please don't sue me. Um, and yeah, I will see you in the next video.